All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Harakakodash. Double honors to our apostles that rule well at Great Millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akim that are preaching this word in all truth and sincerity. And of course, Shalom to you few sisters out there, the children also that believe in Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, Ba'Hashem Harakakodash. So this is Isaiah 19 and 16. Actually, I'm going to start at 17 because this is the point. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Okay. Now, Judah is dealing with the so-called Negroes, all right, so-called African Americans. But Judah, as a nation, the kingdom of Judah, deals with the southern kingdom of Israel, which also consists of Benjamin and Levi, which Benjamites, okay, would be actually the people of, Jamaica, the West Indies, okay? A lot of Irish, Scots, a lot of them are Benjamites, And then you have Levi, which are the so-called Haitians, okay? That makes up the kingdom of Judah. So it says, and the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Okay, you see what's going on in the news, okay, that, and it's been going on for a minute, but now it's coming to a time where Judah, okay, the so-called darker skinned tribes, the so-called black tribes of Israel, okay, are starting to push back. And it's been going on for quite a minute, since Judah fell away. When you go into Genesis 49, it talks about how from the prey, my son, thou art gone up, Judah lost that revolutionary spirit. But right now, Judah is starting to actually push back. And it's been going on for about, I would say a good 10, 15 years, man, where Judah's been actually, bucking up physically against Esau, man. And you see what just took place with that Judite, that's son got killed by the cops unjustly. They lied and tried to say that he was armed, but he actually fled and was shot in the back, And then the dad retaliated. So that's stirring up Judah. You might think, oh, okay, Judah's never gonna, fight back. But the scriptures say Judah's gonna fight back, man. And Judah's gonna be a terror unto Egypt. Okay, Egypt, modern day Egypt is America, Babylon the Great. Look at the back of your dollar bill. That pyramid represents slavery. The word Egypt is a Greek word for bondage. Okay, that ancient land, Pharaoh and the pyramids, in the Hebrew, in the Bible, is actually known as Matazarium. Okay, so Egypt was just a code name or a how would you say it? A nickname, all right, if you will, because we were in captivity in ancient Egypt, all right? So modern day Egypt is America, man, okay? It's not a coincidence that they got Egyptian obelisks, that they got cities named Cairo, Philadelphia, okay, Memphis. Those were actually places in Egypt. You can look it up yourself, man. Okay, they got obelisks, the pyramid on the dollar bill once again. Okay, it says, everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai of hosts, which he had determined against it. Okay, so Judah is going to be a terror unto this place. When the Lord actually puts a spirit on Judah to fight against Esau, the so-called white man, you other nations here in America, it's going to be bad for you guys, man. Okay, now, 2/3 of our people, they going to die. They going to die the death. Okay, we're not lifting up cry for them. We're not praying for them. Okay, we're not instigating or exciting what's going to happen. It's just the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai that's going to take place. Okay, now from there, let's jump to, actually, let me guess something real quick. Because growing up here in, Northern California, I'm one of the brothers out here in Modesto, California, which is like the Central Valley, but still part of Northern California. And, the other brother with me, a warrior, the head of the camp. Us growing up in Northern California, you had a lot of Hispanics that got along with, Judah, with the darker tribes. Okay, now, Hispanics and Native Americans, they're known as the Kingdom of Israel in the scriptures, the Northern Kingdom. Starting with Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans, all the way down to Issachar, the so-called Mexicans. So let me show you an image and, just something that we grew up with. So it was always in the spirit right here up in the north of California. So this is an image I just typed in black and brown. All right, black and brown is what I put on Google. And what really sparked this lesson to touch on black and brown, which really we're both brown. Judah's actually just a darker tone of brown. Nobody's actually black. If you look at the man right there with the braids and the gold chain on with the black shirt, his shirt's black. Okay, but his skin is actually dark brown. That's just a play on words that Esau, the so-called white man, pushed on the world because the word black is synonymous with evil, with death. Okay, we're actually all different shades of brown. Okay, besides Esau, the so-called white man. And, you do have Israelites and other nations that lost their pigmentation through, whether it's a curse or through, the seed being mingled, But touching on this, up here in Northern California, there was primarily the Bay Area. There's, a record label, or I should say a music collaboration between Bay Area Hispanics and Bay Area African Americans, Negroes. And it was called, the CD was called 17 Reasons, which of course it was like a lot of gang affiliation, but growing up in the Bay Area, they were like representatives and, a lot of people, even if they weren't gang members, they liked that kind of music. But that spirit's always been around up here in Northern California. So it just makes sense that when shit really hits the fan, the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans are going to come together. And what sparked this, going back to that, I was at the post office today, and as soon as I walk in the post office, there's a Judite that works for the postal service. And right when he see me, right when he made eye contact with me, he stuck out his fist to, pretty much, do a fist pound, like, how Jake, Jake in a fashion shakes hands, we hit each other's fists, you know what I mean? And it was like no question. He didn't say anything to me. It was just like an automatic connection. Okay. It was just an automatic connection because we're the same people, man. Okay, we're brothers. We're actually related through blood, through our seed, through our soul. We're the same people. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the same people. We're brothers. We're blood kin. Okay, and that spirit is being pushed through the brothers, man, through the elders and apostles and brothers of Great Millstone and brothers that are in that correct doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, now it's just a matter of time. Okay, because the Lord, He's going to really do it through the elect, man, through the 1/3. The nation really going to come together through the 1/3. Okay, to really be, to really, you know, to really have that power to go against this devil. Okay, now, the scripture says, you know, when the enemy come in like a flood, the Lord going to lift up that standard. The standard is going to come through the elect, through the 1/3. The Lord ain't going to give no 2/3 spiritual power, man. Okay, but, hey, 2/3, they're going to see it. According to Psalm 110, they're going to be willing in the day of that power, man. Okay, so what's going to happen? Now, I'm not saying that a 2/3 going to make it and be in a chariot, going to shoot fire. No. That's only going to be for the elect. The 1/3 are the only ones on this side that are going to be saved, that are going to receive that kind of power. Okay? So, yeah, let me get this in Zechariah. So this is Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 13. It says, when I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, because Judah's the head tribe. All the tribes are going to come together under Judah. Okay? So when Judah starts to retaliate, to go lamb, I don't like to say the word ham, when Judah really starts bucking up, and Esau starts killing you Judites, okay, starts killing you so-called Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, you Native Americans, when he really starts to kill you guys, man, Judah's gonna rise up, and then the other tribes are gonna say, you know what? We have the same enemy. Hey, you know, they ain't gonna really understand, okay? But then most of them are gonna be like, oh shoot, well, we have a common enemy. If you remember the Zoot Suit riots that happened in like the 50s, I believe, it was Judah and Issachar, which once again, Judah are the Negroes, and Issachar is the so-called Mexicans down there in LA. Or check out in the 80s with the Watts riots. It was once again Judah and Issachar. Okay, or when you had the Black Panther Party, which were Judites, and then you had the Young Lords, which was Ephraim. Okay, they were coming together. Okay, and that spirit, the Lord pushed back because you know what? The Lord ain't dealing with no 2/3. The Lord ain't dealing with nothing outside the truth. Who's really gonna come together and really, you know, show the world, okay, real power are the Hebrew Israelites, man. Okay, the tribes: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Issachar, Zebulun, Gad, Reuben, Manasseh, Simeon, okay, Zebulun, Asher, Naphtali, okay, those, the 12 tribes, man. All right, it says, when I have bent Judah for me, because Judah once again is the bow. Judah is the head tribe. Filled the bow with Ephraim, and raise up thy sons, O Zion. Zion is Tzion in the Hebrew, which means a monument. Okay, which Zion, the monument, is the elect, all right, is the 1/3, those that remember the Lord and are truly remembering and seeking after the Lord. Against thy sons, O Greece. Thy sons, O Greece. Okay, it's talking about Esau, Edom. All right, the so-called white man, the devil. and made thee as the sword of a mighty man. Okay? Because the Lord, he gonna make the elect, the 1/3 of the tribes, a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. It says, and Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai shall be seen over them. The Spirit of the Lord going to be on the 1/3. Okay, that power is going to be with them. That's what it means by the Lord shall be seen over them. Okay, and then the Lord actually going to appear over us. Hadawan Ratazah, we're part of that number, in the chariots to redeem us, to save us. It says, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning, and Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai power shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones. And they shall drink and make a noise as through wine, and they shall be filled like bowls and as the corners of the altar. So that was pretty much the point. Pretty much the point. Hey, when somebody is whooping ass, okay, a much needed ass whooping, payback, and they see that they're getting busy, they see that the battle is in their favor, they shout. When you watch them UFC fights and somebody rocks somebody's world and they drop their enemy and they call the fight and that man wins, he shouts, okay? He roars. That's how the 1/3 are going to be. They're going to be filled like bowls. The Spirit of the Lord is bad, man. It's bad for you devils, man. It's only a matter of time. And once again, okay, it's going to happen. We're not saying that 2/3 are going to make it, because they ain't. They fucking ain't. But the elect, the 1/3, amen, they're going to rise up, man. They're going to rise up with that power, man. It's manifest destiny that's going to take place, because if the Lord don't give power, if the Lord don't intervene, there'd be no flesh to be saved. But Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai promises he's going to intervene. So with that, you know, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Harakakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders that rule well at Great Millstone. Shalom.